Hello, it's good to see you. Welcome to week 7, Tuesday, 5 p.m. Zoom meeting. Okay. As usual, I'd like to start with questions, if you have any. How you doing, Fong? Good, good. I'm glad to see that you're doing well. So I have opened up. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. What about the interview paper? For 4 pages, single space is usually the required amount. Okay, so now that's the ideal page number because the whole purpose behind your interview is to try to dig deeper by talking and interviewing an expert, not a person with expert knowledge, so that you can write a you can deepen your understanding and write a high quality profile essay. Yeah, but in the past, students turned in fewer pages, and of course they lost a few points, but I would still accept them. So try to, yeah, you can be a little bit than that, but again, you might not, dependent on the quality of the paper, you might not get full points. So to improve and ensure that you have meet the that you will meet the page requirement is um, in your introduction and your conclusion. Remember, you have to have the introduction and the conclusion, right? In those, you can what was I gonna say? Oh, you can definitely put put more details in there. Okay, so that, yeah. See, if you're not interviewing an expert with expert knowledge, the answers you receive are not good enough. Okay, so if they're not long enough, then of course you're gonna be short on the page requirements. So that's why I emphasized last week and the week before, emphasized the need to find somebody with expert knowledge. But since this is the week that is due, it's kind of hard to go back. So just work on your introduction. Introduction and conclusion can help you lengthen it. Can help you make it meet the requirements. Okay. All right. So continuing on with my walkthrough of week 7. We begin usually again with the required readings page, and you should be reading your memoir. And next week is when you need to have finished. You will need to have finished half of the book so that you can do your midterm memoir project submission. More on that next week. We're also looking at chapter 10, which is chock full of very useful information for writing on in the book on writing well. And we're looking at chapter 4 again, writing a profile. And if you have not looked at this chapter or look at the slide shares or both, I highly recommend that you go back and look at it, because if you don't, you won't know how to write the profile essay. Okay. And then this last bullet here is a collection of how to be a better writer in 14 minutes with grammar lessons. Okay, so check these videos out. Maybe they'll help you with your writing a little bit more. Okay, next is the discussions forum. We are doing the peer, every time we have a major paper, we have to have the peer workshop. So this workshop will be worth 25 out of 50 possible points for week 7 discussions forum assignment. So if you participate and you do everything that I am asking you to do, including posting this peer handout review completed for your classmate that I will pair you on Friday or Saturday, then you get that point. The letter to the editor peer workshop was very bad because nobody was doing that. Okay, so but you know that's their loss. So I really don't know what else to do but to keep reminding students. Practice final exam is our next task here. It says that the test doesn't require you to write this essay, okay, but it does require you to look at it. We are preparing for the final exam, which will take place on Friday, May 18th. So this is this prompt I'm showing. Okay, if you wrote it, then post it on the forum, and next week or so, oh, you wrote it. Yeah. If you wrote it, you should put it here so that I could take a look at it and you can ask me for feedback to see where you are in terms of the scoring guide, whether you have written a good essay or not. Okay. Then you can also take pictures of your handwritten essay and put it in a Google Doc and then post that Google Doc. Okay. Then I can look at it for you. I think it's gonna be helpful, but I'm gonna leave it up to you as a choice. Yeah, so you can scan and upload it and I can look at it, and maybe on Thursday when you have some free time, you can come back online and I can give you more specific advice on how to improve it. And I think every student should do this practice. As it turns out, practicing for something is gonna make you a better. It's gonna you're gonna become better because you practiced. That's just a given. Okay, so if you don't post your essay, then you have to post a paragraph of your first impression on the final exam and on the prompt, an example of the prompt. So the next task is chapter 10. I even included a Prezi on the chapter, so you can look through the Prezi, or you can actually read the chapter yourself. Reading the chapter is more beneficial than if you were just to read the Prezi, right? So I would highly recommend you to read the actual chapter. It's really useful. That's the least I could say about it. The pre-writing for the profile essay should be done after you have finished your interview paper. Okay, so you need to pre-write to find your thesis statement for your profile essay. And you won't know how to do this task if you have not looked at chapter 4, if you have not done your interview paper, okay, or you have not done the previous week discussions forum, week 6 discussions forum. If you have not done this forum and you jump right into writing the profile essay, this is just a disclaimer that you will not be able to know how to write your thesis statement. But if you have read the chapter, you have looked at the Prezi, and you have done everything up until this point that you were supposed to do, I don't think this test is going to give you a whole lot of problems. Remember, pre-write, you have choices for pre-writing, right? You can do free writing, you can do clustering, you can do brainstorming, or you can do question asking, things like that. That's pre-writing, okay? And so right now we're just working on the pre-writing for the profile essay. Next, as you can imagine, you need to form an outline for that, and then the draft, and then the final draft. We're practicing the writing process still. And then you have to respond to your classmates to get full credit. Otherwise, I would hold 5 points. When you don't respond to your classmates, I would hold 5 points, okay? The next item on the list is the place for you to submit your final draft. This is due on Sunday. The final draft goes here. Grading the final draft is very straightforward. If you've met all the requirements, I will give you full credit, okay? If not, then I'll take a few points off here and there. So basically, that's what I do when I grade the interview paper. So this is one of the easier assignments to get points for. If you don't do it, then it's obviously you're lost. I do have a rubric here, but again, I already told you how I would grade it. So the rubric is just for your information. And then I have the paper interview peer review handout listed here again, just in case, it's just another place for you to access it. So that will be it for week 7. Typically, you're continuously working on your interview paper and your profile essay and your memoir reading. The other thing that I have not talked much about, yeah, I know. So those people that I paired, but they never completed the peer review handout, they usually, I took points off, okay? So if you did yours, you've gotten your points. So I think that matters more. So even if I pair people don't do the peer review handout. So that's their choice, and they'll have to lose points for that. Okay. I was gonna show you how to do the Wix thing because I said last week that I would do that, right? So I'm gonna go to Wix now. Have you already figured out how to do Wix, by the way? Okay, so let me look at that. Week 4, discussions, right? Okay, thank you for reminding me as I am bombarded with gradings at this point and throughout the whole semester. I usually overlook things like that. So if you are advocating for yourself and you remind me, it's actually working to your favor. Okay, so yeah, it shows that you added last task. Okay, so you addressed that, so thank you for doing that. So I have no problem if you add something that you missed on the discussions forums. And if you did that, please be sure to let me know so I can go back and add your points. Every point matters. So is there another item, another assignment that I overlooked? Now that I only have you. Okay, good. So the major benefit of attending a Zoom online, as you can see, is having a one-on-one interaction with me like this, so that if there's any gray discrepancies or errors, I know right away, you know right away, we're on the same page, we're good to go. Do you have any question on Wix at this point? Wix is gonna be part of next week. Okay, it's gonna be week 8 module, part of week 8 module. Week 8 is a midterm checkpoint, okay? And usually I give a lot of detailed instructions on Wix during week 8, and I also talk about the memoir project. Okay, so lots of discussions must happen with your memoir project because you're working collaboratively with other people in your memoir group. And again, it's under people. I've listed the groups, okay? The long semester-long memoir project group here. We still have these people with our groups. like Hung, Kevin, Jacob, Matthew, Robert, Alfie, Joshua, and Juan. And I've already inbox messaged these people with our groups, but they have not responded, and they chose not to respond to me. So they won't be able to complete this major assignment, which is the memoir project. And the memoir project, the new thing that I'm doing this semester is that I'm tying this project to the Wix portfolio category for grades. So if you look at our syllabus, that category is actually very major, big. Okay, so let me go there and show you the percentage breakdown again. Okay, so it's part of the 20% grade. Okay, I used to put this under participation, so it was only part of the 10%. Now it has become part of the 20% along with Wix. So it's rather a major assignment that should not be overlooked. Right? So if you happen to watch this video and listening to this part, and you have not signed up for a group and have not started reading your memoir, you are going to unable to finish this to get points for the 20% for the final portfolio category of our syllabus grade breakdown. Okay, so I would like to be clear about that so that there's no misunderstanding. I will put this language in my announcement this week as well, just to remind people to actually read the memoir that you must select. You should have already selected it a long time ago. Week 3, okay, and you should already be complete and been reading this memoir. I can't talk today. So, do you have any questions so far about Wix and about the semester-long memoir project? Oh, good. Then look at the task description of the memoir project again, right? The task description has details on what you have to do for your PowerPoint presentation slides. Okay. Okay, so I'm opening this up just to remind people again. This has detailed information on what you have to do. So between now and next week, you should look this document over again as you prepare for your week 8 submission of the halfway point of this reading project. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Oh, I have people signing up again. Joshua Joshua cannot be by himself on Catfish and Mandala, so someone else needs to sign up for that with Joshua. Okay, so your group is rather large, Feng. You have 5 people in your group, right? Or 6 people in your group? 6. So that's gonna be a little bit of a challenge trying to get people on the same page. So what you're gonna do is perhaps you could take the initiative and visit your own group site. They visit your own group homepage and then post announcements, messages to the group, asking them for their progress, telling them about the upcoming week 8 due date for the project, and inviting them to help you work on the shared PowerPoint. Okay, so So what you're gonna do is you have to create a new, like when you are in Drive, you create a new Google Slide document. Okay. So when you create that and you send the link to everybody, or you post the link here under announcements, people from your group will need to add, click on that and add their work there. And so a lot of collaboration work going on, a lot of navigation as well. So this is part of the whole equation of collaboration, is the ability to figure out how to delegate or how to work with each other in a large group setting like that. Okay, does that make sense? You have 1 week and next week, this week and next week to start thinking about this. So when you add the announcements, you're emphasizing, the part about how this project is part of the 20% of the course grade, and that you need to work together on it. It's collaboration. It's called collaboration for a reason. Okay, it's not individual work. And you tell them that you have a discussion on this. You say, we need to put together one file using Google Drive, and it's called Google Slides. Okay? Google Slides, and people can access the same document to add stuff in. So first thing first is you have this initiated discussion with people, and then have them look at this document again. Okay, so I'll send this to you again, just so that you have it. If one person doesn't finish the work, then you tell me, right? So it does affect the group score. It does. Because it is a group project, and you say that, oh, you're responsible for slide 1, 2, 3 on the author's background information. And if that person doesn't pull the weight, or if that person doesn't meet the deadline for you to submit, then just submit anyways and let me know. Okay, let me know, and then I will just put enter a 0 for that person grade, and then I look at the other people's work to see how well you've done, and then it will be the same score for everybody, but then the person who did nothing will not get anything. Okay, does that make sense? I hope it does. Okay, so I highly recommend that you go on your group page and add an announcement to invite people to work with you. Okay, highly recommend that. Okay, so as you can see, even though we have we don't have that many items for week 7, you actually have to do a lot of things this week because of the upcoming weeks and semester-long PowerPoint. Okay, so keep that in mind as you work on your assignments. And if people who are behind are trying to catch up, it's really difficult at this point, but it still can be done. Okay, so reach out to me, attend Zoom meetings, let me know how I can help. Have a conversation with me is fantastic for you. Otherwise, you might not make it, and you might have to try again next time with this class. Although I'm not encouraging that at all. I'm just saying the reality, because we are at week 7 now, and next week is midterm week. Alrighty, that's all I have to offer today, unless you have other questions for me. In which case, just let me know. What question do you have? Okay. I'm very glad that you could make our Tuesday meeting so that I can create this video. I'll, again, post this video on my YouTube and include a link on my assignment. I'm sorry, announcements today. I'll put up an announcement with the link to the video, the YouTube video. Okay, so have a good night, and I'll talk to you soon. Good luck with your work. Bye.